on so grass or dirt. But turn down the volume on Dick and Bird. Buck, Dick and Bird. Buck, Dick and Bird. St. Paul admitting the law and life, and hitting rock bottom, drugs and the ex-wife. Buck, Dick and Bird. Buck, Dick and Bird. Buck, Dick and Bird. Buck, Dick and Bird. Fuck off. Shit.
Hello, all, and welcome to this edition of Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play. I'm your host, Anthony Variano, and I'm joined by the brothers Haas, Michael and Bradley. How are you guys doing today? Probably about as well as I am, I suppose.
Not too bad.
I don't know about you guys, but Aaron Rodgers was in my nightmares telling me to relax last night. And I'm not feeling so great about football season anymore. If you haven't listened to our previous podcast a couple days ago, we were talking about which team was the best team in Minnesota. And I guess that ain't saying much. I guess in the two-state area between Minnesota and Wisconsin, we're not even the top team there. And now I don't even know if we're the top one of the top two teams in our own division, despite winning the division. All right. So the name of this podcast is called The Vikings Needed That Whoopin'. And we're going to talk about why they needed that whooping. So what went wrong in Green Bay? More like what didn't go wrong. Take it away, either of you. Brad?
Everything went possibly wrong. I would say like a shining spotlight was our defense actually played very good in the first half. They gave up some rushing yards, but to give up, what did they give up? 13 points in the first half. I mean, that's, I would say, pretty respectful for
Never
what
did
they
stop the run, though.
But they weren't scoring touchdowns. I mean,
that's been their MO all season, is bend, don't break. Yeah.
But when those breaks don't turn in 2 points for us, I mean, you have the ball in the goal line, you can't score a touchdown. That sucks. The very next play is a kickoff, 105-yard return, go down, miss a field goal, then we have an interception return. I mean, it was stacked against us from the beginning in that game. I would have liked to see them try to get Jefferson the ball more, like you said yesterday in text messages, Anthony, to kind of keep him happy.
Just wide receiver runs in general. I mean, they went 8 carries for 20 yards to start the game, and there was no creativity in the run game whatsoever. But Jesus, just getting the snap off was a problem yesterday.
Back, well, injuries on our line. We had
that was
third string center. O'Neal, our right tackle, went out. They don't look good, and I don't know if that's on purpose or if teams just can scheme against us to make our offense look like shit. I'm hoping for the bright side that once we get to the playoffs, you're going to see a new Minnesota Vikings offense that, unlike nobody's seen before, but we'll see. I mean,
I'd like to think so too. I just saw that I think Irv Smith got activated. So now you can run more 2 tight end sets, because Hawkinson actually, I read this, I found something on him. He's actually turned into a pretty good run blocker since he was traded from Detroit. Let's see. This is from Nick Olson on Twitter, at Nick Olson NFL. His run block grades in weeks 1 through 8 in Detroit were 48.3, 58th out of 74 tight ends. And now weeks 9 through 13 in Minnesota, he was a 68.4, which is 9th best. And, he's a great receiver, obviously, but
yes.
Irv Smith is more of a downfield threat than he is. And I mean, if you can have both of those guys on the field, at least you have one of them who can block in the run game potentially.
Now, to give the Vikings a little credit, I understand maybe we want a different play scheme in the offense after all the bad luck falls upon us. But it's really tough when you've got, third string center that really limits what you can do. And then losing O'Neal is going to be huge if he's gone for the season, because our line we're going to have to totally change up our offensive outlook.
Well, the thought is they might be holding back Bradbury just to make sure that he's good for the playoffs. Losing him, this is another thing I found. They've been so bad on the interior line without Garrett Bradbury. This is from Next Gen Stats. 6 different defensive tackles have recorded at least 5 pressures in a game against the Vikings since week 14. I think that's when Bradbury went down. So that will be a really, I mean, we can't be the team that we want to be without him on the line, because Kirk Cousins doesn't have the time to throw the ball. Justin Jefferson doesn't have the time to get open downfield.
I agree with that, but it's not like when we get Bradbury back that solves all of our line problems. Cleveland allows a ton of pressures. Rookie Ingram allows a ton of pressures. I mean, we're gonna have to switch things up, and it's gonna have to be quick plays, because Cousins isn't gonna have time for anything to develop. I mean, when our line was healthy, he didn't have much time, but he was playing like a rock star in my mind. And your comment on Aaron Rodgers started off, I don't even think Rodgers played that great. I don't think Rodgers beat us. Bad luck beat us.
His numbers you lost by too many points to lose solely on bad luck, though.
Yeah, but Rodgers didn't beat us.
I told you the over would come in. The only thing I got right.
Oh, yeah, the over comes in off of special teams touchdowns and just fluke interceptions.
Hey, that last KJ Osborne got me into tonight's game on a 4 touchdown parlay that I picked up, so it helped.
That's the one you didn't share with the people, though.
No, not yet.
Okay, so let's rethink their NFC rank now. I'm thinking maybe they might only be better than one playoff team. The Giants?
That depends which Vikings team turns up, and I think you could say that for almost every team in the NFL this year,
except like Eagles.
Eagles look like shit yesterday
with their backup quarterback.
The week before against the Cowboys. So, whose defense is better than the Saints' defense? Is that better than the Cowboys? Because they torched the Cowboys. And the Saints made them look like crap. Don't get me wrong. When you put in your backup quarterback, unless you're the San Francisco 49ers, you can win with whoever the hell you put in there.
Super jealous of the Niners. So jealous.
I think on any given day, if you have the right schemes going and enough luck to fall, I think in the NFC, any team can possibly win. Any team.
Well, maybe not going on the road. This team, I think, really struggles in the elements on the road, especially in the kicking game, it seems. The kickoff, you just got to kick it further. And Joseph didn't even bother to get in the way he did a terrible job trying to get in the way. There was a giant hole in the middle of, the blocks were set up perfectly, but there was a huge holding. And he, shies away from contact in a point where you're the last line of defense, and that just can't happen. Then you go and miss 2 field goals. And I think that's actually probably for the best, because now we don't have to rely on him. We can go for it on 4th down anytime we're around the 50 or the 40-yard line in their territory. I just think this team, we run the ball well enough. We should just go for it on 4th down a lot.
I would agree with you 100%.
Unless there's a potential of giving a short field to, a good team. It's just stay on the field for as much as you can, because your defense is not good. You already know you're going to allow a ton of yards, and they're going to stay on the field, and the longer they stay on the field, the worse they get. So, you've got to keep them off the field as much as you can in that first half.
But I really wish they would give it's my opinion, when they're within the 10-yard line, Madison should be the back end. No offense to Dalvin Cook, but you get down to the one, we don't need a guy who's dancing around trying to find a little crease, which our line is never going to create.
CJ Ham, give the ball to CJ Ham.
He's not explosive, but at least he goes straight forward. That's my only crack about Dalvin Cook. He is great. He's a top running back. In between the 20s is where I like him. And after that, Madison puts his head down. I agree with Mike on that.
That's the only thing I would challenge you, Tony, about. I agree. I think every team needs to run the ball more, the Vikings especially. But if you don't have a line that can create some holes, it all comes down to your offensive line. And if they're not moving anything, Christ, that play the Packers did, that sweep, I told my brother, I'm like, look at how that whole right side of the line just moved up 3 yards before the guy even touches the ball. I'm like, our line can't do that crap. So, I mean, we got to be creative and use the playmakers that we have. I'd like to see a lot more short slants. We could get creative, do some end around stuff like that, even passes in the backfield.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what our run game can be as well. That doesn't just have to be Dalvin Cook. I mean,
well, and that's my thing. You going back to like Aaron Rodgers, even in his heyday, if he sees that a cornerback's playing 10 yards off his wide receiver, boom, it's throw it to Devontae Adams right away. Let him get 4 or 5 yards, maybe break one. That's a running game right there. I mean, we've got KJ Osborne to do that. Jefferson can do that.
Jalen Reagor can do that, although he did fumble the ball yesterday.
Yeah, he's in the doghouse too, I think, for that interception that he let go against the Giants where he just stopped on his route. So there's another guy. He's got all the potential in the world, man. I tell you what, though, that rookie in the, in the crap minutes of the game last night looked pretty good.
Oh, the Naylor?
Yeah.
So there's people floating the idea that the Vikings would somehow sign Daniel Jones, who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, as a replacement and be an upgrade at quarterback because of the lack of offensive line or pass protection in general and his ability to run the ball. Which, I mean, it's hard to.
Do you honestly think now the Giants would let him go though?
I don't think so. No.
I mean,
are they going to pay him though? Is the question.
How much are they willing to pay him? Is the question.
And my thing to touch on this real briefly. I mean, would it be even worth it? I mean, is having him be mobile that much of an upgrade?
I think so. The two biggest plays yesterday were Kirk Cousins running straight up the field into open space, which I think is the best trick play the Vikings have. Is let's run quarterback draws with the guy that nobody's accounting for on the field. I mean, especially on a team that's pinning its ears back and pass rushing like crazy on offensive backup reserve offensive lineman. And that's another thing is like what you said. I didn't see the first series where they were on the 1 yard line and failed to score a touchdown. And you said they ran draw plays there. Is that right? Running back draws, delayed runs?
No, it's just where the quarterback's in the shotgun.
Shotgun runs.
It's come on, like I don't know.
I never liked the idea of going shotgun when you in goal line situations. Let's instead of putting ourselves 2 yards from the end zone, let's put ourselves 6 yards from the end zone.
So, unless you've got a QB who can run, or I mean, you've got some kind of option play coming, but
right.
But no, I think next year for the Vikings, it'll all depend on. Well, I think Bradbury's a free agent next year. See if they pick him back up, but over the last half decade, their line is improving slowly but surely. And I think we had those anchors, O'Neal and Darrisaw on the end, build around that.
God, he got blown up last night too, though. Gosh.
No, he underperformed yesterday.
I think everybody had their worst game of the year. I mean, that happens to the Vikings more than any team I've ever seen. It's just like everybody plays their shittiest game on the same day.
I must have said it 30 times yesterday with Brad. At least it's better to have this game happen today as opposed to in the playoffs.
Yeah, but why does it keep happening? Like against playoff teams, our point differentials like -30 or something because we lose to Dallas by whatever and lose to Green Bay by a ton and Philadelphia by 17. I mean, Jesus, we haven't played a good team well.
We played the Bills, beat the Bills.
That was the worst Bills team I've ever seen. They gave us that game twice. 2 times they gave us that game.
Yeah, then again, though, I mean, we can't get the damn ball in from 1 yard line. Are you serious? 4 plays. Like, come on, coach. Like, you got to be able to score. If you can't score from the 1 yard line, I mean, you don't deserve to win.
Well, let's see where we are here. Why we needed that whooping. Well, it seems likely they'll end up the 3 seed and host the Giants rather than Green Bay. But we'll have to travel in the second round, which I don't think regardless whether they're playing at home or on the road that they're going to win a second round playoff game. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, right now with how it's panning out, it looks like we'll end up traveling to San Francisco. If we beat the Giants, which
That's
to
a
me
big if.
personally, it is a big if. But I tell you what, I'd rather play them.
That's sad though that we wouldn't prefer to play Green Bay or Detroit at home. We win the division and we're the third best team in the division.
I guess I disagree. I wouldn't be as concerned playing Green Bay at home. The Lions just are a scary team to me.
Offensively, a juggernaut.
Yes, yeah.
Too many guys to cover.
No, and I guess my only thoughts on if we needed a weapon, which I don't know if we needed one, but hopefully what we see out of Cousins and Jefferson going forward, because Jefferson is a freak when he's playing for something. So I hope being embarrassed, I hope we see the best. I mean, we see the best Justin Jefferson every other game, but I think that could light a spark and really just get back to revolving the offense around him. Like, no offense to Hawkinson, love Hawkinson, but we've got to get Jefferson involved every series. I mean,
I was shocked. It took, not one goddamn run play his way. I mean, just, you got to get the ball in his hands. I don't care how you do it. They didn't throw even a wide receiver screen, the play I hate most in football. Not one time. And I mean, do it. And if you can't get him the ball down the field, you got to get the ball in his hands, or he lost his fucking mind. The game was over for him. The moment one pass breakup, that was Zaire Alexander's stat line. He had one pass breakup and not a single tackle yesterday because he didn't have to tackle anybody with the ball because the ball was never around him. They never even forced him to make a tackle in the open field by getting Jefferson the ball behind the line of scrimmage, which is
Jefferson had what, 2-3 targets? Is that it?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 targets, 1 catch. Like, is that? Am I close to that stat line?
Yeah.
So moving forward, here's a good question. Since we're pretty much locked into the 3 seed, we have to play our starters against the Bears, right?
Oh,
I mean, is this like
they are? They say that they are because there's a lot to play for. I don't know.
I mean,
hopefully you win that game in the first half and you can still put in your reserves in the second, because the Bears look awful this week. Just awful.
Well, at least on the offensive line, we get to play with our reserves the whole game.
Yeah. Let's see where are we at here.
Here's the other thing is too, man. Like, I don't know why I'm always so optimistic with the Vikings, because they let you down every freaking year.
Yeah, I don't know why you are either.
I tell you what, San Francisco's second round game or first round game could be tough for them too.
Well, they didn't look especially good against Oakland.
No, that's what
the Packers. I mean, so hypothetically, we could have 2 home playoff games if we win. Who knows what happens between Dallas and Tampa Bay? That's a coin flip.
Tampa Bay looked like themselves for the first time all year.
Yeah, at the right time. One of those teams could go into Philly and knock Philly out. I mean, like, I'm optimistic we could host the NFC Championship game.
Oh, God.
But
we are the one team trending in the wrong direction.
Well, no, but that's I think we're being a little too hard on the Vikes. Starting the season out, none of us expected we'd be here. And then if you watch every other team in the NFL, Niners played like shit yesterday. Like, there's no team that just dominates week to week. Yes, there's some weeks where a team will dominate, but then a different team shows up. Like, I don't think there's a clear favorite going forward. I wouldn't bet my life savings that the Vikes would make it to the Super Bowl, but it's just a weird season. We've won games we shouldn't have won. Like, who the hell knows what's going to happen, honestly, this year?
Are you guys at all worried that might be a scheme in what Green Bay did in shutting down Justin Jefferson, because that seems to be the way to beat the Vikings, is if you can take Jefferson out of the game, you've got a really good chance of whooping us.
No, they were. I mean, he was getting chucked right at the line of scrimmage, and I think that is one of his biggest flaws is getting off of the ball. He can run some pretty good routes, but it's down the field. It's after 5-10 yards when he makes his cut.
Why didn't we put him in motion more often in order to get him a running start?
Are we saving?
It's hard to hit a moving target, for Christ's sake, and he's sitting in one spot the whole goddamn game. I mean, it's fucking stupid. And then why are we getting out of the fucking huddle so goddamn late still? We got 1 week left in the fucking season, and we're getting in the line of scrimmage with 12 seconds left with a goddamn third string center to snap the fucking ball. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Christ.
No, I know. Yeah, but the couple plays they did try running some motion and stuff. Shit, we got delay of games and false starts because our center, the timing's off. Like, so hopefully, I mean, this game was lost
after the kick turn.
I mean, hopefully we see a new team next week. I mean, O'Connell's going to have to use what he's got left of the O-line and try to scheme an offense, and I think he can.
But are they seriously though? Like, here comes my optimistic shit again. Are they being like the Bobcats that just sprinkled some stuff in throughout the year, just sprinkled this stuff, and you're like, why don't we do that more often? We would dominate. Then you come to the semifinal game, and boom, we have both quarterbacks in.
I think you're giving O'Connell far too much credit. Like, this is a culture coach. He's not a scheming coach, I don't think.
What I'm saying though is, like, when we have our 4 losses, the team has looked like absolute garbage on offense.
They've looked out coached in every aspect of the game, special teams, defense, and offense.
So I
don't like to knock on O'Connell too much because he's given us the record we've got.
Well, he's far better than what we had before. That's the yeah.
But the one player off of Jefferson that I'm still surprised this late in the season who's not on the field more for some kind of plays is Jalen Reagor. Like,
yeah,
he's just a freak of a talent. Figure out ways to get him the ball. Use him as a running back in some fashion. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. The Vikings have a plethora of talent. I mean, they have 2 running backs that could start.
Yep.
1 elite wide receiver, a couple good possession wide receivers in Thielen and
a Pro Bowl tight end.
Osborne. A great tight end who needs to make some catches, though, that he drops a few that irritate me during drives.
Well, when you get 7 to 9 targets a game, you're
though.
bound to drop a couple, especially when you're getting covered and, we got linebackers hanging off your damn arms all game. Sure, you're bound to drop a few.
Maybe it's just because I see him dropping them at the wrong damn times, on those 3rd and 5s where, I don't know. He's good. But yeah, then you throw in Reagor and you throw in that, is it Naylor, the rookie? Like, they've got talent everywhere. I mean,
except on defense. The defensive backs are, I mean, Shelley has improved a lot this year, but
he made a couple good pass breakups last night.
Right. I mean, just they did not stop the run yesterday at all.
Which is weird because they usually have stopped the run and teams throw for 400 yards against them.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Rodgers' stat line, he threw for 142 yards is all, but they rushed for 150. I mean,
well, and Green Bay does have one of, I mean, in the NFC, besides Philadelphia, maybe Dallas, they might have the 3rd best offensive line, right?
I would say
Green Bay's a running team now too.
Oh yeah.
Like, no offense to Rodgers, but that team needs to run the ball.
Well, they certainly did it effectively against us. So what are you guys' thoughts on the next game?
It's all about momentum. They got to come out and execute good on offense
right away.
I mean,
fast.
yes.
Yeah. Do whatever you got to do to get a touchdown on the first possession. Like, just go for it on fourth down. Don't bother. Because, I mean, it's the Bears.
I mean, my thing is, O'Connell should go in and say, hey, we're playing the first 2 quarters like it's the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We need points. We need to win. Let's go. Let's get a lead.
Play like you're down 21 from the start of the game.
Let's go get the first half. You know, we need to click because, hey, we got the playoffs next week, guys. Like, and we're at home. Like,
we've already had to let's see, what was it? The Giants were down or up 17 on us in that game that we ended up coming back to win.
Yeah, give or take.
We can't. I don't think we can afford to do that again because the Giants made 2 like giant mistakes that basically sealed that game for us. They screwed up a punt and they had an interception, Patrick Peterson interception around midfield that turned in points.
Well, and that's exactly what happened in how the Vikings just, bend but don't break. When we do those mistakes and they turn into touchdowns, I mean, there was our chance right there to keep the game within 1 or 2 possessions. Lost it. So, I mean, they got to come out and I think play the best first half of football that they've played all year. Get them in a groove going forward. Get Jefferson back. Positive. I mean, I hate to see him like he was yesterday, being frustrated, but I get it. When you're the face of the franchise and whatnot, you feel.
And are we really going to start letting defensive backs dance every time they break up a goddamn pass? Like,
well, no, and that
should have been a goddamn penalty because that's a slippery slope, my friend. If we've got cornerbacks dancing every time they get a pass
because you can't do other shit. I mean, that didn't cost us the game, but we need to be consistent in the damn what they penalize shit for. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I thought that was nuts. It's like, get in the end zone and then you can dance.
You roll, reverse the rolls there, and if a wide receiver goes and dances over a damn defender,
taunting.
Yeah, it's taunting. Take away the first down. I mean, it's
a rough day.
It was tough.
I was glad it was over early, though. It was nice to get away from it, but yeah, it was not fun. I mean, I don't like playing these good teams and getting our butts kicked. I would much prefer to be in the game and lose. That would be a nice change of pace.
It seems like it's like this
blown the doors off in the first half.
But isn't it like this? Like we always play, a division team in December, and I don't care what our record is. It's always like these games, our last couple of games in December, we just suck. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Not been terribly great in the elements.
Well, that's the other. I hope that all of our games are at 2:00 Eastern, or we're fucked. I mean,
oh yeah.
The closer it gets to prime time, the worse Kirk Cousins plays.
So yeah, I guess unless they move the Super Bowl till 2 Eastern, we're fucked.
Some guy was writing about Kirk Cousins and how bad he is with that broadcast team, as if that has anything to do with how.
Actually, every time Romo's called a game, Cousins is fucking trash.
He had a goddamn a defensive end or he had a pass rusher covering that Justin Jefferson on that sack fumble on the drive going.
You totally
they actually looked like they might have a chance to score, and he didn't see him. And that's the thing, like, once you get behind in those games, like, I know they've come back a lot this year, but, eventually you start to realize, like, wow, these guys are a lot better than us. And that thing that they talk about in the replacements, quicksand starts to happen. And then the things that you usually do when you're, playing well, you don't do them. Like,
exactly.
And that's just recipe for disaster.
Well, no, and that's, I think, the scariest thing for the Vikings is offensive and defensive lines. Like, it's really tough. A lot of our wins have been miraculous just because of the lack of pressure our defensive line gets in most games, it seems like. And the fact that our offensive line gives up so much pressure, it's actually, you got to give Cousins some credit.
Oh, I do. I mean, he's done a lot considering how many hits he's taken this year. I mean, he stands in the pocket and delivers the ball on a dime after taking a licking.
Shit, how many times you watch our defense where you can just sit there after the ball is fucking hiked? 1, 2, 3. Fucking QB's got fucking 4 or 5 seconds before somebody gets to him. Like, that'd be nice.
No, and I don't think any of us are ever blaming Cousins. Like, he's had a good year. I mean, there's nothing you can put on Cousins. He's had a few errant passes with interceptions and stuff. I always get mad, because he's got to get rid of the damn ball right away. But it's got to be tough, So if he looks at that first wide receiver and it's Jefferson and he hasn't came out of his route yet, he's like panicking back there. So that's where I think design some shorter stuff. That until you soften that defense and you can't allow them to pressure you as much, you got to do quick stuff. Or this is it. I mean,
So are they still the best team in Minnesota? Let's go back to our last discussion, because I think the Wild might have them now at this point.
Record-wise, they're still the best.
Hell, I don't even know if Justin Jefferson I don't know. Kirill the Thrill is just in a league of his own. Justin Jefferson was mostly until yesterday too. That's the thing, is Justin Jefferson has all the numbers Randy Moss has, but I'm not convinced that he's Randy Moss. Not even close.
Me either. And the thing is because he has these games. He's had a couple of these
Randy
games.
Moss did too. There were games where Randy had 1-2 catches for 14 yards or whatever, but they'd still win by 20 points because Chris Carter or Jake Reed would have 8 catches for 160 yards because 2 guys were on Randy Moss all goddamn day.
Secret though, they had a top 10 defense too as well.
Yeah.
Gosh, it really stinks having a bad defense. Can we even blame Ed Donatel for this? He's just, I don't think he's done he hasn't put his guys in a position to have success.
I agree.
There aren't nearly enough blitz packages to, make sure these corners aren't covering or aren't in coverage for, 3-4 seconds.
And to make sure that your freaking linebackers don't have to cover somebody for 4 seconds, which is impossible.
Yeah. You got to put 8-9 guys at the line of scrimmage and just, first, stop the run. That would have been nice yesterday. It's just you know what? We're going to bring a bunch of guys, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have to get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands fast.
Hey, can we start off with, can we at least have 10 or 11 guys on the field?
That would be nice. Yeah. They had 10 seconds to put somebody in the game and still didn't. It was third down too.
That blew my mind, because the game was still in reach there. Third down, and what was it, 8? You call a fucking timeout. Hell, we'll go against 10.
This is what they were yesterday.
Oh,
they were broken. If there was this mistake to be made, they made it. It was Murphy's Law, right? It's just.
Oh God. Well, yeah. And no, we just didn't get any breaks to fall our way. Those 2 interceptions in the first half, or those 2 turnovers in the first half by the Vikings. That'd be nice if our defense could get a break like that when a ball gets tipped up where it just magically finds a defender.
Well, I don't think that's breaks. That's good defense.
That's good defense, but also a little bit of a break. The ball doesn't have to go straight into the fucking air.
I guess it's just a matter of how where you touch the ball. We're not ever going to be close enough to the ball in order to make those plays happen. Our corners are going to be 2 yards off the ball, chasing the guy after he catches it.
No, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
I'm really impressed with how the Packers' defensive scheme has improved this year. They were blanketing our guys. Even TJ Hawkinson, there was a guy on him. He had a lot of catches, but it wasn't he was ever wide open.
I don't I don't think Hunter's going to get his payday. He looks just like an average defensive end now. I mean, he needs to.
Well,
he's got to be
Darius Smith. I don't remember the last time he's had a sack either.
I think he had one last week in the third or fourth quarter. But that's the thing. You praise these two ends being like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Yeah, they are good. If you can get pressure on an offense with only rushing 4, that's a benefit. Obviously, we can't do that. We got to bring 4, 5, 6 guys to put pressure, or you see what happens. They have all day to throw. And especially with our secondary, somebody's gonna get open.
Yeah,
I mean,
Harrison Smith needs to be playing around the line of scrimmage. Like that's just the guy that, sure, you want him back there to break up, separate people from the ball and stuff, but
you also want him up by the line to blow up the run game.
Right. He's one of the best tackling safeties out there. So, yeah, I mean, if you can't stop the run, you got to put him in the box and just commit to stopping the run.
Definitely.
Yeah, yesterday's game was about as good as the Twins off season.
Oh, my God. All right, boys. Well, we got about 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Anybody got any bets to share with our audience who we owe? Because none of us got too much right our first time around. The over came in for me, thank God, in the Vikings-Packers game, but that's about it.
I told my brother yesterday, especially this year, betting on the NFL is such a freaking crapshoot.
It's pretty silly. Yeah. I've been overly lucky this year because the Vikings apparently have been overly lucky this year. So, but I mean, what about those semifinal games, huh? That was a pretty good weekend of football. Holy smokes.
Honestly, it was completely different than what I thought. I thought it was going to be both favored teams were going to blow them out. I mean, those were 2 of the best semifinal games since they started this.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun. I mean, it was actually fun. And then TCU comes out as a 13.5-point dog already in the championship. I
don't know about that.
I money on TCU.
I don't know about that, but because watching that TCU game, talk about a team having breaks fall for them as well. I mean, that game was turning perfectly for TCU, and they did take advantage of stuff. But that touchdown they called back and then just to fumble on the 1 yard, it's just like, give me a goddamn break. It happens, I'd love to have been a TCU fan, but
Georgia needed not to be now. Breaks.
By the way, Michael was saying last week that TCU had no business in the college football playoff. So,
hey, I was with him, man. I thought a team like Alabama should be in there before TCU. I really do.
They've got a dude in Duggan. That guy
he's tough.
Really good.
He's good. I agree. Which I'm laying my money on TCU to cover this week. I mean, unless Georgia just comes out and just blows the doors off of them, which
I was just expecting more defense played. At least, Georgia. I thought Georgia would play some defense.
There was no defense.
Wait, I think that's just college football, though. It's like, kids make mistakes, so there's going to be a lot of wide open cats and lots of touchdowns.
So who are you guys betting on in the Battle of the Dakotas?
Oh, the FCS championship game?
Yeah.
I got to go with the Jackrabbits, man. They've played more football than anybody in college football because they played the pandemic schedule. So this team has got a lot of chemistry, and so I'm sure they're probably underdogs. I would lay my money on them just because I think we were better than NDSU. Montana State is who I'm talking about. Michael and I are Montana State alum, and they've got it all. They've got it going on, and I would say that I think they got it this year.
It's tough to beat a team twice, though, especially a rival like that. I mean, it's honestly
they have beaten North Dakota State already in the regular season this year.
I would say if they play the game that they played against us.
Oh yeah, you'll beat anybody if you play
Jackrabbits. Easy. And how the hell can you root for North Dakota State to be like rooting for the Grizz? I
Never.
mean,
I would never. They've got too many championships for me to root for them.
We've got less than a minute. We got to get one Twins thing in here. Where's Carlos Correa going?
I mean, imagine the Mets, because there's no way that the Twins make an offer of 10 years, which is what you thought last week or last show. 10 years.
I thought it would drop down to 10.
I would say maybe the Twins go 8 at most. I think that's what I've read. So.
All right.
Okay, sorry for the sad news day here, folks, but we'll catch you next week or so. We're going to be doing this every week. So we just started a Substack. It's Go Gonzo Journal. And then you can catch us on our YouTube channel, Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play, or at foulplaybyplay.com. I'm Anthony for Michael and Bradley Hawes. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Peace.